Hey there, guys, this is Malorian, and this will be a Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report at 2,500 points, and it's going to be my Dwarves up against Beastmen. And this game will be really interesting for two reasons. One, it's my entry for my 12 games around the world campaign, where you're trying to play against a different army every single month, and the one for this month is Beastmen. So I was able to find a Beastmen player. They are pretty rare, but I was able to find one who was up for a game. And the other thing is, I talked about before about the idea of having this wall of dwarf characters. And that's what I'm going to be doing here today. I'm going to be running 2 dwarf lords on shield bearers, also a BSB, and a runesmith who'll be hiding in the back. Unfortunately, for the second dwarf lord on shield bearers, I was right in the middle of building him when my opponent came half an hour early. So unfortunately, I won't. He'll just be a regular dwarf on top of a double base, but I'll have that made for next time. But anyway, the general is going to be having just a great weapon, but he's going to be toughness 10 with the Master Rune of the Adamant, so that's pretty hard to deal with. The other Lord is going to be toughness 7 and also have an additional wound. And then also the BSB, which will complete the front rank of 5, will be having -1 to be hit. He'll have a 1+ armor and 1 additional wound. So really a very tough front rank. You could be making it even better. This actually even stays within the 25% lords. But yeah, it'll be neat to see how it does. And like I said, he's going to be Beastman. And one thing he's going to be bringing here is this massive unit of Minotaurs. So it's going to be 11 Minotaurs, plus also a Doom Bull in there. And normally, if I'd see this, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's nothing. I'm just going to shoot it down. But I took no Warmachines. Yeah, that's right. I decided that, especially because I knew I was going to be facing Beastmen, I called them out. I'm not going to have a list that's just going to tear their faces off. So I said the rule to myself that, you know what, no Warmachines. So what I have then from left to right is, okay, first of all, this is going to be Dawn Attack. So this is why the deployment's kind of crazy. We also got 9 pieces of terrain, and 2 of them were settlements. So we got terrain up the wazoo. But anyway, the way that this is working for me is that on the left, that's going to be a gyrocopter. Then I'm going to have my horde of hammerers. I'm going to have another horde of great weapon warriors. But unfortunately, because of the terrain, they're going to be in ranked formation. All those characters are going to be in a bus of 25 shield warriors. And then I have another gyro on the right that is going to have vanguard, but I forgot to vanguard it. And then off the board, I'm also going to have 30 miners. So, I mean, really, if you wanted to make this a regular list, you could always drop just the miners, and that gives you 300 points to put in Warmachines. And you could do other stuff too. But anyway, on his side, from left to right, he is going to be having 2 chariots. He's going to have his massive horde there. And in there, he's going to have lots of different characters. He's going to have his level 3 of death. He's going to be having Slug Tongue. He's going to have his BSB, of course, with the Beast Banner. And he's also going to have the special character, whatever, the One Eye, the Lash. Then we already talked about the Minotaurs, and then another chariot, and that's everything. As far as the terrain, most of it won't really matter as far as magical abilities. I mean, like the one on the right's a Wizard Tower, the one on the left is a Grail Chapel, but nothing really comes into play. Really, at this, you can see we're going to have 2 real battles. We're going to have the battle on the left side, and we're going to have the battle on the right side. Now, on the right side, I am supremely confident in this one. Not only am I sure that my lords can beat that unit on their own, I can always use the gyrocopter to be redirecting and all this stuff, so I'm feeling really good there. The left side, that's where things are a little bit more dangerous. Again, I'm just assuming at this point he had the Beast Banner. I was correct. But with all those attacks and possible hatred, man, he can rip up my hammerers big time. So I got to play it really carefully there. And I'm really wishing I had some war machines. On his turn, he's going to get off. Well, sorry, pre-game, he's going to go off with his slug tongue, and most of my units he does nothing to, but he takes 2 wounds off this gyrocopter here. So at least it lived. That's really good. And as well, he also rolled a 6 and stole first turn, which doesn't really matter, but he rolled a 6. So after his first turn, he's really rushing up here. He's able to get off Wild Form on his unit, which I don't care about. I stop Soul Blight, and that's really the turn here. So on my side, like I say on the right, I basically move up and then zip up uh, the gyrocopter so that I can do the redirect. I also did my bombing run, so did 1 wound to a Minotaur. It's something. Meanwhile, on the left, I'm more kind of holding back. I would like to get a couple of sprays off on that unit before combat, but if he wants to come in, I am taking it on the nose with the warriors, and then the hammers can flank. So the gyrocopter is just hiding behind the building, waiting to deal with something if he does kind of like hold back as well. But that's my turn. You know, it's pretty easy when you have no magic and no shooting. So on his turn, he's going to charge out of the unit with the Doom Bull. Now, I'm going to decide to flee. I'm now looking back, wondering if I should have just taken it. But the hope for me was that, okay, I'll get away, and then I can charge it with my warriors. But because of the angle, and he did not quite go far enough, he's going to be blocking my unit from countercharging. So that kind of sucks. Meanwhile, here on the left, by the way, he's going to declare a charge on my hammerers, but rolled a double 1, didn't get anywhere. Then what he's going to do is send a purple sun through my lines. Now, normally this is something that I would have scrolled, but unfortunately he got irresistible force. So the backlash to him is only going to kill a couple of models and do a wound to his level 3. But he's going to send this through my lines. I actually roll pretty well for my toughness test, but I still lost like 15 guys. And the worst thing here is, whereas my plan before was, oh, take it on the warriors, I'll be steadfast and I can counter. I won't be steadfast anymore. So that kind of takes that tactic off the table. So after his turn, it looks like this. Really, it's just, I don't know really why he put that there, but he did put that chariot kind of more up in front. And what that's going to allow me to do is, normally I would not really know what to do with the left situation. Back up, I guess, and start flaming. But now with that chariot there, I can actually springboard from it onto the unit. So I'm going to go for a double charge on the left, and on the right side, there's not really anything I can do because of that gyrocopter. So on the left side, it all works off. I charge in with both here, so I make it off onto the chariot. Only needed a 6. Warriors were really close, so they get in there, and so I will be able to destroy the chariot and then overrun into that combat. And that's what happens. Destroy it. Unfortunately, the other chariot does not panic. I did do 1 wound to it with a bombing run, so that's pretty nice. By the way, if you get confused with the dice, I mark wounds left, and he marks wounds taken. And then the crazy thing is that after this fight, I got my butt kicked. And okay, well, there's 2 sides to this story. One, this the Lash, this one-eyed special character, gets an extra attack for every model in the front rank that he's fighting. So he got like an extra 10 attacks, and yeah, that meant that he killed 9 models all by himself. 9 hammers just dead. So that played a really big part in this. Of course, he got his Primal Fury off. However, I did roll for army-wide hatred, so I got that back in return. And really, my main goal here was that I knew I was going to lose combat, so I was going to go after characters. So on the left side, I killed both the BSB and the One Eye, so great to have them off the board. I also killed a champion and some other guys too. And on the right side, really, their whole goal was just to kill that level 3, and they failed. That all failed. So I lose by quite a bit. Hammers are stubborn. The other warriors run away. He reforms a kind of slide over. He wants to leave enough room for his chariot to get in there too. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice because now with the Beastmen are gone, he's not +1 strength. With the General gone, he's missing all those attacks. Now for Primal Fury, he's just on Leadership 7, no reroll. So this should be going in my favor. But again, if that Chariot comes in and rolls a 6 or something for impact hits, this could be a little bit scary. Meanwhile, on the right side, I really just rally with the gyrocopter and reform. The miners, I decide to bring on over here. Normally, they'd be coming on from the side or behind, but there's no real point to that. So they're over here to help support, and that's my side. So going on to his side 3, he surprises me and has his Doom Bolt charge into the miners here. That probably means these miners are dead, but hey, at least now I can go after those Minotaurs. Over here, he charges in the chariot. And then after this is all done, what also happens is that the chariot charges the gyrocopter. I flee past my panic. He fails to redirect, and then the Minotaurs do a charge on the Great Weapon Warriors who have to flee, and then he also fails the redirect. So he's all kind of like jumbled up there between the house and the chariot and all that. In the bottom right combat, it actually turns out where normally whenever you see a Doom Bull, it's always the Ram Horn. This guy's different. This guy's all set up for damage output. So he's, always strike first and stuff like this. And so I think, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to kick his butt. I do like 3 wounds to him in the first round of combat. But he also has a 5+ ward, and he makes 2 of them. So he's going to win this combat. I only did 1 wound to him. I'll be steadfast. And now, knowing that he's not Ramhorn, I might be able to kill him before I break. Meanwhile, on the left side, he got 3 impact hits. The rest of his guys, he failed his Primal Fury. So he's 4+ to hit, 5+ to wound. I have a 5+ armor. So he actually didn't kill that much. I killed a lot back. He broke with both. Didn't run very far, but I didn't pursue very far. And so he gets away. But now this is great. The whole left side is all going my way. And on the right, I can now charge in too. So on my turn, that's what I do. I charge the gore there, and they hardly run away at all. But again, I barely chase them at all. Meanwhile, the gyrocopter charges a chariot. It has to flee. And at this point, I'm just kind of hoping for some bad rally tests. But even if he does rally, I can just charge him again anyway. Meanwhile, here on the right side, I'm going to be charging in here with my character wall and looking forward to kick some butt. Over here, this was no good. I was not able to sneak on any more wounds on him. He kills some. I'm steadfast, and I fail. I'm away from my general. I'm away from my BSB. I roll a 10, and off the board I go. So he's forced to pursue. He only goes D6. But yeah, this was not part of the plan. Over here, so he takes 4 of his models. They attack my BSB, but they're hitting on 5s, wounding on 4s. I have a 5+ armor, or sorry, a 3+ armor. And look at my saves there. He gets 5 through, and everything goes through. So he kills my BSB, which was not part of the plan either. But either way, I do beat the Minotaurs, but I fail to run them down. This is always the bane of the dwarf combat, is that you can beat guys in combat, but can you run them down? And what happens here too is he even gets extra far away because he's going to jump over the building and get to the other side. He passed his panic on his chariot. So yeah, I mean, I did really well. I rallied with both my units on the bottom there, but whereas he's killed my miners, I haven't got all that many points from him. I mean, I guess I got his general as BSB, but it could be a lot more in my favor, but it's not. So meanwhile, on his turn, what's going to happen is really just a lot of running around. So the Minotaurs are going to rally, and they're going to reform to look on the left side. So now they're just going to be getting the hell away from my lords. Meanwhile, he rallies with both his chariot and his gore. So that's an issue. I mean, normally I could just get in there and charge him. But now, if I charge those gore, he's going to counter with the Minotaur. So I don't know, could not be the right thing to do. Meanwhile, the one chariot just turns around on the right side, and the Doom Bull just races over to try and get my great weapon warriors and get the points from them. In the magic phase, he gets off the Soul Blight onto me, and I figure that's not too bad because if I get the charge, I'll still be strength 6, still killing on 2s, and toughness 3 is bad, but it's not super bad. Meanwhile, I really had to stop wild form, and that's what I did. So on my turn, I'm going to be charging into these guys here. Don't know why this is always a blurry picture when I look at these guys. And on the right, I kind of surprise them, and my gyrocopter charges this chariot. And I mean, with the static combat res, I should have this one. So the way that this all goes down is that on the right side, he does a wound to me. I do nothing to him, but he breaks, and I run him down. Both units here on the right march up. The Lord unit at the top there, that's because I'm trying to threaten the Minotaur still. The warriors with the great weapons, they want to be there so that when he charges me, I can flee and jump over the building to get away. Meanwhile, at the top, what I did, and this was, it could have been so good. So what I was supposed to do is I flew over that gyrocopter. So it was going to redirect the Minotaurs. The Minotaurs could only go after the gyrocopter. They'd be forced to overrun. And then I could maybe get them with a rear with the warriors. And then as well, the hammerers would be able to get them in the flank. Well, what happened is that after I beat those gore, I failed my test to not chase them. And then I'm forced to go after them. Now, this could be even worse. But luckily, my overrun took me into that chariot. So, yeah, the master plan did not work off perfect, but, at least it didn't completely trip over itself. So on his turn, he's going to charge these warriors. And like I said, I jump over the building and get away. And over here, he charges the gyrocopter. Now, normally, this would be really, really bad because Minotaurs will kill this and overrun to my rear. But remember, Minotaurs only overrun and pursue D6, so they actually won't be able to get to me. And again, a crappy picture, sorry, but he tries his best, rolls a 6, but still doesn't get to me. So overall, what happens then is that, his Minotaurs did their thing, I did my thing, and what I decided to do was actually kind of stupid. Hoping to get away, I decided to overrun and go off the board, and I'm like, yeah, I'm so smart. And then I realized not only will I have to come back on my turn, he'll just charge me anyway, but because I ran through the river, I have to take some dangerous terrain, and I lose 3 more of my guys. So, whatever. All right, so on my turn, there's not too much I can do. The warriors rally, the gyrocopter moves away. The warriors with my lords reform around just to kind of like taunt the Doom Bull into a charge. It'd be a long one, but why not? And the hammerers, I only have a few of them left. They come back onto the board and this go 3 wide so that he can only attack with 3 of his own guys. By the way, the smartest thing to do here would be Congo line, but I don't want to be that guy, so it's all good. So what happens here is that he's going to charge the warriors, the great weapon warriors. I'm going to flee and get away. He's going to redirect into the shield warriors with the lords, and he's going to roll a 10 and get there. So it's fight time. So over here, he's going to charge these poor hammerers, and this won't be a very long fight at all. And the way that works is that he kills them all before I even get the swing, and he overruns off the board. The Doom Bull, I declare a challenge with my toughness 10 Lord. He still gets 2 wounds on me. I do 3 to him. I win, but he holds because he also has a Crown of Command. And then finally on the following turn, I'm able to kill the Doom Bull, get those points, and get the win. So overall, it was an interesting fight. Of course, I'm pretty sure if I took the Warmachines instead of the miners, it would have been pretty one-sided. The Minotaurs just don't have, or the Beastmen don't have the tools they need to deal with the Dwarves. I mean, all of a sudden I could have been staying at the back of the board, and so doing this was a lot more fun of a game. The whole character wall thing, man, it definitely does show that it does work. He got some really good dice to kill that BSB, but normally this is not many points, and easily doable. And this unit is freaking tough to try and take out. So still waiting to see what Anthony from the Sustainable Center does with his dwarves. And my challenge to him to try and do the same sort of character wall. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.